This is Haystack Help Radio on KLZ 560 The Source. Haystack Help Radio is powered by HaystackHelp.com. Finding help can be like finding a needle in a haystack, but with HaystackHelp.com, finding the needle just got a lot easier.
Welcome to Haystack Help Radio. My name is Scott Watley. We want to thank you for joining us today. Our number is 303-477-5600 if we can help you in any way. Our website, HaystackHelp.com. There you'll find a lot of great companies to do business with. We have a help box there. Send us any question or problem. Maybe you have a suggestion for the show. We will get right back to you. And sometimes just getting a third party involved in business disputes can really help out. And we've seen a lot of those go away once we get involved. And we have Kelly on our staff. Kelly makes some calls. I'll make some. Chris will make some. And we will try to help you in any way we can. So check out our website, HaystackHelp.com. Our helpline is 303-333-HELP. That's 303-333-4357. You can call that number anytime, but if you would like to call in on the show today, give us a call, 303-477-5600. Hope everyone has their coat with them. I think it's going to get a little cold outside there today. And we have in studio Bonnie Bowles and Kim Johnson with Wills and Wellness. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you, Scott. How are you?
Good, good. Is it getting a little chilly out there?
It is.
It is.
It is.
It is. I can feel it. It's, I don't know. What have y'all heard on snow reports?
It's coming down.
It's coming down. Okay. All right.
Starting soon, nonstop.
Now, every once in a while, we have a show, and we have people plan to be in, and something happens. They may get tied up in court. So if you happen to hear this show and you look up and it's bright and sunny and 62 degrees and you think we've lost our mind, today it looks like it's fixing to come down, as they said. So, see, that's a good Texas word, fixing. Do you ever say that?
I do.
Yep. Fixing to go? Okay.
Yeah, and Mike could.
Yeah, Mike could. Yeah, we could use a whole show on that, yeah. 303-477-5600. Well, ladies, today we want to get to know some things about estate planning, but then talk a little about your staff.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I like to do, because I get caught up in attorney speak, I have to be reminded by my husband that not everybody talks that way or knows exactly what I'm saying. So I've got our lovely client services director, Kim, here today, who really does a fabulous job at explaining some concepts that I probably don't bring down to the level where it's easy for the average person to always understand. And that's where Kim comes in. She's just great at doing that, just really helping you get your feet wet. And so she's here to talk through what it would look like from the prospect's perspective, who's looking and interviewing attorneys and figuring out what kind of plan is good for them. She's great with that.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Kim. And I was asking Kim just before we went on air just a little bit, what makes, from you guys' experience, and both of you can answer this, what makes people put things off? When they know it's important, they know they need to do it, but I think people realize it's important. Right now, it's just not an urgency matter, and until you get thrown in that urgency matter, then it's an urgency matter. But what do people tell you when they come and sit down with you, and you think they're of age where, hadn't you thought about this before, like me? Okay. What do people tell you?
Sure. One reason, we work mostly with young families with young children. One reason that people put off their planning is maybe they are expecting more children. I hear people say that's why they want to put it off. We'll wait till the second one is born. And that's definitely not a reason to wait. Number one, our plans are written so that they automatically include future born children. Of course, we review your plan every 3 years, and we can specifically add extra children. But what about your first child?
Really,
what about them? So, another reason people might say, oh, well, I'm in the process of purchasing another home. There's all sorts of reasons why people think that they should wait on that. But really, you're putting your family in danger while you wait to get your ducks in a row, because you're never going to have your ducks all in a row.
I don't know. Yeah. I know what people mean by saying that, but it's kind of like waiting till you have kids. We want to wait till you'll never have kids.
Right.
Even I'm the one who's pushing, planning ahead and all that, but there are just a few things on that checklist that I just seem to never get to. Right. Some people think that somehow planning for it, because we're talking about an incapacity or passing away, that is going to somehow hasten the occurrence. I've never seen that happen. Right. Honestly, we've worked with lots of growing families, and there's never been in an issue like that. Although, of course, especially the guardianship documents do come into play, even if it's not an incapacity or passing away, but just if you're traveling and your child is here and has a health issue. I mean, that's where estate planning comes in, and it's much different than just thinking about who gets my stuff when I pass away, which is what people tend to focus on who have never explored this area before.
Right. And, you know, a lot of people think about expense, but the expense really comes in if you don't have a plan. That's where it's going to cost you in a lot of different ways, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's either going to cost you something now and you have the certainty that you'll know what will happen with your children and loved ones, or it's going to cost your loved ones something then, and probably in almost every case much more than the upfront planning, no matter what attorney you use.
Right. All right, Kim, let's grill you a little bit here. All right.
Sure.
So who is Kim? Tell us a little bit about you and how you ended up with Bonnie and why you do what you do.
Sure, absolutely. So I went to school for journalism, actually. So I love communicating, and that's why what I do right now is perfect for me. I basically do a lot of our outreach. So a lot of our community service outreach, a lot of our all of our social media, and our blog that we have up that's constantly changing. So that's kind of where I started there. When I finished journalism school, I decided I wanted to go to law school. Ended up it wasn't for me, but I started working in estate planning many years ago in Chicago. When I moved here, I happened to meet Bonnie, and luckily we're working together now doing this project to help children, which is also a passion of both of ours. So I've been working in this field for a long time, and it's the combination of both of my favorite things.
And you know, it's really important, I think, in an office, because you can be a great attorney, but if that person they initially meet and sit down with is not good, they're never going to get to you. You know, they're going to leave. You know,
absolutely right. They've got to have that nice.
They might talk and be nice, but they're not going to do business there. So, it's always great to see when there is really good synergy there, and they love just the office, you know, and I can tell you that's rare. I go in a lot of offices for appointments, and I can see the person behind the desk answering the phone hates what they do, and they haven't said it. I can just watch them, you know. I can hear what they talk or say. And so to have somebody that you would almost do it for free. We won't tell Bonnie that, okay? But when you feel like that hey, I would do this for nothing, because I love what I do.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where it's really fun.
100%. And people, sometimes people want to ask me questions that maybe they feel, you know, that they are not speaking knowledgeably enough to an attorney, and they'd rather talk to someone who, you know, is a little bit more down to earth and maybe on their level, and that's where I can come in. People often ask me all sorts
Those
of
would be
basic
people
questions.
like us from Texas. Yeah, because see, we feel intimidated. We say we're fixing to have kids and all that, so that would be people like us, but no, it can be intimidating just when you go in a law office, you know, and so when you have someone, and Bonnie's not that way, but I mean, I've met other attorneys where it's like, wow, you know,
lots of oak and leather-bound books.
How would you ever talk to them? You know?
And I don't try to be intimidating with the way I talk. But the idea is that it's just a different relationship with the client services director versus attorney. And so for the clients, it works out very, very well because they know they can come to either of us, to me for the more strategic questions, and for Kim for the day-to-day things. And Kim knows quite a bit of just about the mechanics, so she can help out a lot in that area before a question has to get even to my desk.
Right. Now, you're the client services director.
Yes.
So what does a client services director do?
Sure. So basically what I mostly do is field questions from people who call in or come to one of our free talks, which we have all around Denver. And anyone listening to Haystack Help can come to any of those. They can look at our website at wilsonwellness.com. But usually after people come to a talk, they usually have some follow-up questions. And I try to get them to come in and sit one-on-one with Bonnie, because if they're like everyone else in the world, they have some kinks in their family or some wacky, you know, relatives.
Everybody.
Yeah, and so when you're putting people in these serious roles about who would raise my kids, a lot of people have questions that they really want to sit down one-on-one with Bonnie. And so what I try to do is make them feel comfortable enough to come and sit down in our conference room, or I like to call it's our living room. You know, come and sit down with us. It's really comfortable. You've been there before. It's got a kids' play area, so kids are welcome to come.
That's the area I was in.
Yeah, we had to pull them away from the toys. But just trying to get them to come in and really start picking apart how to plan for their family. So I try to make them feel welcome.
Right. Their number is 720-266-8190, 720-266-8190. Website is willsandwellness.com. Again, we have Bonnie Bowles in studio, Kim Johnson. If you have any calls, maybe even thinking about getting a plan together, about to finish a year, start a new one, this is the time to get a plan. And I'm actually, I told you last time, I told Victoria, we got to get in and do that because you just need to do it. I mean, it's just that simple. So if you want to get in, 720-266-8190, call, get an appointment. And tell us about your special real quick, then I got to take a break.
So for Haystack Help listeners, our family wealth planning session, which is up to 2 full hours on my calendar, and there's a lot of preparation that we put into it. We ask you to do some gathering of information that you give to us, and then I spend the time to prepare for our meeting together, and then we have those 2 full hours to walk through what does your current plan look like, and then where could we go from here if something about that current plan doesn't sit well with you. And so the value there is $750, and we're doing that complimentary for Haystack Help listeners.
And I know we sent you one yesterday, I think.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you very much.
Good.
Yes,
So,
through the website.
720-266-8190. Call in and get in on that special. We'll be right back with Bonnie Bowles and Kim Johnson with Wills and Wellness.
The number one concern for baby boomers today is financial security. Hi, I'm Dot Mecklenburg. I'm a financial advisor with 43 years of experience and have become the trusted resource for people planning retirement transitions. I want to see that you have enough money to enjoy the lifestyle you love for the rest of your life. For a free consultation, call me today at 303-647-1948. That's 303-647-1948. Or visit us at dotmecklenburg.com. That's DotMechtenberg.com.
Dot Mecklenburg Financial Services is an official company of Haystack Help and an A-plus member of the Better Business Bureau. Securities and advisory services offered through Genios Wealth Management, Inc., member FINRA SIPC.
What could you do with an extra $500, $1,000, or even $1,500 per month? How would that change things for you? Would you buy a new car, pay off bills, or just feel a bit more secure about your retirement? What if I told you there's a way to make your dreams a reality? I'm talking about trading and investing in the market. Now, before you say, oh, that's not for me, just hear me out. I want to invite you to a half-day trading course so you can check this out. I promise you, you'll go away smarter than when you came in. We here at Online Trading Academy sponsor this, and we'll even send you home with a free home study video guide. Your money's doing nothing for you in a CD or mutual fund. Learn how to profit when the market's up or down. Call us now while seats are still available at 303-325-2776. Use offer code Radio50. 303-325-2776. That's 303-325-2776.
Have you been involved in an auto accident, slip and fall, or any other personal injury? I'm Kevin Flesh with Flesh Law, and I've been protecting victims' rights for over 17 years. If you want aggressive representation that will get you the money you deserve, then call me at 303-884-1037 or visit my website at fleshlaw.com. That's Flesh, F-L-E-S-C-H. I will give you the personal service you deserve, starting with a free consultation. Call me 303-884-1037 or visit me at fleshlaw.com.
Have you heard about Len Lyle Chevrolet's 2013 Closeout Triple Play? Right now, you get a guaranteed lowest price, guaranteed highest trade-in value, and the lowest interest rates from over 75 lending institutions. Len Lyle Chevrolet, I-225 in East Colfax, or on the web at lenlylechevy.com.
You strive for success every day. Take the time now before tragedy strikes and you can't protect your kids. Ensure they have the guidance they deserve.
I'm attorney Bonnie, and our passion is to make sure parents don't leave it up to a judge who doesn't know your family to decide who raises your children. Without a plan, it could be a nightmare.
I checked out willsandwellness.com, a different kind of law firm. Personal family lawyer Bonnie Bowles helped me design a plan so my daughter would always be cared for by someone I want. Bonnie at willsandwellness.com made the process approachable and welcoming. Check it out, willsandwellness.com.
The Laura Ingraham Show, live mornings at 7 on KLZ 560, The Source.
Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio. My name is Scott Watley. Our number is 303-477-5600. We have Bonnie Bowles in studio, also Kim Johnson, Client Services Director for Wills and Wellness. We were just talking during the break, and Bonnie, you were telling me about a lady that actually heard you on our show. 3 days later, a husband passes away. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when we talk about a plan, that's why. Mm-hmm. You don't know. You never know. And so now, you're being able to help that lady. And first of all, we're sorry if she may be listening. We're certainly sorry for her loss, but you never know. You may think, I have plenty of time to make a plan. Tomorrow can change your life forever. So give them a call, 720-266-8190. Check out the website, willsandwellness.com, one of the best websites you'll find out there with a lot of great information. And we just want to really urge everyone just to get a consultation, sit down with them, figure out what you need. And, you don't have to hire them. I mean, I'm just going to say that. I mean, this isn't a deal where they're going to force you to do something the very first time you walk in. But I think once you meet them in person, and you hear her on the show all the time, especially Bonnie, you understand their expertise and that they love what they do and they can help you. So, Kim, we'll get back to you for a minute. So why is working, for growing families so important to you?
Sure. Protecting kids is basically the bottom line here. If you don't have a plan, and there's a lot of families that live in Colorado whose blood relatives live outside the state.
Yeah.
So something that's really important to us is guardianship, both short-term and long-term. We don't want to see any kids ever be in Child Protective Services, do the best job, that they can in that agency. But we would prefer to have the parents decide where their kids go in an emergency so that they're not compounded with confusion on top of grief. So in order to do that, it's really simple. You meet with us and we help you draft up a kids protection plan that includes your short-term and long-term guardianship so that maybe your neighbor, who's also your best friend, would be able to take your kids if you happen to not come home one day while the kids are at the babysitter. So that's really important to us. And then we've seen really bad cases of families not planning. For instance, we have one client who has a 21-year-old daughter who they didn't have a trust or anything set up, and her father passed away, and she's about to inherit several $1,000s, and she unfortunately has a drug problem, and there's nothing that anyone can do. She's about to just get that money, and we're very concerned about her health and well-being. In another case, I was literally in court where a teenager had to say in front of the entire court, both sides of his family were fighting, which family he wanted to live with. Now, it wasn't his choice, but the judge wanted to hear what he had to say, and it was really uncomfortable for this child. And so we try to just avoid situations like that.
Yeah, that's got to be gut-wrenching for families when they know someone has a problem and they're fixing to get a lot of money like that. Wow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way if you do some planning, such as with a trust. Of course, there is a legal route the parent can take for a guardianship, but trying to get guardianship over an adult is not the easiest process, because merely because you're going to make stupid decisions with the money doesn't mean that you're not legally entitled to the money. So it's a pretty high standard. The court would have to basically find some sort of mental illness or something like that that really leads the court to conclude that they cannot actually, use the money in a way that they'd otherwise be able to legally, because you can just go spend money on gambling or, too many pain pills if you want.
Sure.
But with a trust, you could avoid that.
We hear the word, I don't want to get us off topic, but conservatorship. How does conservatorship different from guardianship?
That's my question. That's a legal question. That's a good one.
Kim's looking at me like eyes like saucers. Yeah.
So guardianship is someone who is appointed by the court, a guardian, to care for the well-being of another person who cannot care for their own well-being. Minors fit into that. They need a guardian to make decisions for them until they're 18. And then adults who cannot legally care for themselves, such as someone incapacitated or mentally ill or something like that. So a guardian is who the court chooses to be in charge of a person who cannot legally care for their own well-being.
Okay.
Conservator is who the court chooses to be in charge of the financial affairs of someone who cannot legally be in charge. So obviously minors, plus, again, those adults who meet some sort of legal standard about not being able to properly handle their finances.
Okay. And then, Kim, what does really the estate planning process really entail when you look at everything?
Well, at most firms, what you would do is come in, tell them a little about your family, come back in a couple weeks later, sign your documents, put it on your shelf, and then never talk to your attorney again. and you cross that off your list and you congratulate yourself that you're done. But what we do is we actually ask that you fill out a packet that talks about your financial picture, your family picture. We take it a step further and ask you to kind of go over your goals, your values, what's important to you, so we can kind of get to know you on a deeper level. Then you would come in, we talk about it, we talk about what your plan would look like right now, what it would look like with some more estate planning. So then it's up to you, like you said, to decide whether or not to work with us. But you get the full 2 hours to just basically pick Bonnie's brain about all of the nuances in your family and sort of the what-if scenarios of maybe the different people that you might be thinking about considering for these different roles. After that, we would draft your plan and stay in communication with you, try to fill in any missing information that we might need. You would come back in. You would sign your plan, and then we would give you unlimited guidance about how to take your plan further. So if you get a trust set up, unless you take a few extra steps to actually fund your trust with your financial institutions, your trust is basically a piece of paper. So we'll make sure that you take the necessary steps to make sure that your financial accounts and various assets that you own are in that safety net of your trust so that it can be distributed to your children as you wish and not as a lump sum. And then this is totally optional, but this is something that we do that's really special, and it's called Priceless Conversations. You can choose to either do audio or video, and we have several questions that you can handpick which ones you want to talk about, where we video or audio record you. And it's fantastic because we'll ask you, for instance, how did you meet? And maybe you've never had that question recorded before. And if something were to happen to you and your child is just an infant or a young child at the time, they'll have that priceless conversation to live on and have your legacy library. So that's kind of the super
cool.
Drummed down basic of how our process
Or you
goes.
can look at the camera. The reason why I'm not leaving anything to you is...
Yeah, you could do that too.
Famous last word.
Right.
Yes.
Well, you guys deal, like you said, a lot of your practices with younger families, but as Bonnie said a minute ago, families today, I mean, if you meet with somebody probably in their early 40s, 50s, whatever, could be a couple of marriages, kids from each marriage, whatever. So there's a lot going on that you've got to sift through.
With couples marrying, later and later, there might be a prior marriage. There might be some sort of spousal maintenance payment that we've got to take into account for a previous spouse, and children from a prior marriage. So you've got stepchildren. There's a lot involved, and so especially if you've got a blended family or anything that's not just the typical vanilla family, something may be happening with your plan that you wouldn't even be aware of until you come in to talk with us to see what does your current plan look like. And when I use the word plan there, I use it loosely because everyone has a plan. It's just a matter of, have you been intentional about what it looks like, or are you just relying on the state law to dictate what happens?
So in our last few minutes, tell us a little bit what's going on with Wills and Wellness and the growth and what you guys are doing.
The latest and greatest.
Yeah, the latest and greatest.
All right. So, one thing is we're growing already. So we do estate planning for growing families, but our firm is also growing. We added another attorney. Her name is Kim Rudell, and she is also doing talks all around Denver, and hers are also available. You can take a look at that on our website. She's fantastic. She's a young mom, too. She's got 2 little girls, and they're super cute. So we've got her. And then also we've got something going on that's really fun. We like to give back to the community, or do good in the community is how we like to call it. And so right now we're doing a baby food drive. It's called Fill a Baby's Belly. And you can find more about that on our website and through our blog as well. I found out some statistics that over 20% of kids in America are living in poverty, and Colorado has actually grown dramatically with kids in poverty. Between 2002 and 2010, it increased 86% in our state. So while a lot of folks and organizations are giving to food banks at this time of year, we're trying to focus on the kids like we always do. So we're collecting baby food at our office. And that's really what we're focusing on right now, is to get as big of a collection as we can.
Okay, and their office is located at 2525 15th Street in the Lohi area there, Suite 1A. Again, the number 720-266-8190. You want to just stop by and say hello, drop off a donation. They would appreciate that. And one thing I can tell you, Bonnie, after knowing you for several months now and having you on the show several times, and the clients that you've been telling us about, the way I look at it, you guys aren't looking for a transaction in your office.
you're looking really for a lifelong friend and client that they know you're there.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of difference because a lot of times, another person I were before you guys came in, we were just kind of talking about attorney and about, and we're just saying like, man, it's so nice just to have a normal person that you can sit down with that you can trust and not feel like, a clock's ticking every second or every fax is going to cost you $50 or something like that. But just to have someone that really cares about you and listens to you and then tries to fulfill your needs.
Exactly. And so that's really our model in our approach to estate planning. We really try to be relational, not transactional. Estate planning isn't a one-time thing. We have a membership program set up for those families who do want higher levels of service. Those priceless conversations we'll do annually for client members because it's really important to them that you protect not only the children and your assets, but also who you are as a person. And so that's how we actually capture those intangible assets. Everything is flat fee. You know what it is in advance. You agree to it in advance. You don't get surprised or dinged every time you call because we want that relationship with the clients.
Sure. All right, ladies. Half hour goes very quickly.
It does.
Thank you very much. And we're going to have a lot of fun next year. And so give them a call, 720-266-8190, willsandwellness.com. Kim Johnson, Client Services Director. Bonnie Bowles, thank you.
Thank you.
This is Haystack Help Radio.
Hi, I'm bankruptcy attorney Benjamin Yablon, author of The Bankruptcy Guide. If you're overwhelmed by debt, you need to call me today. My direct line is 303-562-3167. Come in today for a free consultation, and your copy of The Bankruptcy Guide is free as well. Once again, 303-562-3167. Or visit my website at yablonlaw.com. That's Y-A-B as in boy, L-O-N as in Nick, and the word law.com. I'm attorney Benjamin Yablon.
Are you paying for broken windows after every round of golf? Are you always yelling 4 to the fairway next to yours? Are you searching in the woods hole after hole? Do you continue to lose every ball in your bag? Do you turn a 4-hour round into 5.5 hours? If you're that guy, or you invited that guy to play with you, you need No Slice. Just put No Slice on your golf club and it will eliminate your slice, guaranteed, or your money back. Enjoy golf again. For more information or to purchase No Slice, go to noslicegolf.com. That's noslicegolf.com.
People make mistakes. We can help. At Jansen Legal, we strongly believe that a good criminal defense engages you as an active team member in your own defense. We understand you are the most vested person in your pending criminal matter, and you will never be treated as a criminal despite what you are being charged with. Don't risk your future and your freedom by facing a criminal charge alone. Call me, Molly Jansen, for a free consultation at 303-832-5400.
Do you have headaches, a stiff neck or back? Everyday aches or pains that you would like to get rid of once and for all? Then call Maximize Health Chiropractic at 303-GO-CHIRO. They're a full-service chiropractic and wellness center staffed with only the best chiropractors, massage therapists, and physiotherapists. They're the go-to experts when it comes to treatment for car accidents and other injuries, as well as everyday aches and pains. They're the recipient of the Best of Chiropractic Clinics Award for the last 5 years. Don't let your problems get any worse. Get the care you need at Maximize Health Chiropractic. Call them today for a free consultation, 303-GO-CHIRO. That's 303-462-4476.
Hi, this is Julie Maeta, founder of the Haven Team. As a mom and a homeowner, I know how much work it takes to own your own home. If you are struggling with your mortgage, whether you're barely making payments or are facing foreclosure, the Haven Team can help. My team and I have helped thousands of homeowners stay in their home through a loan modification, and I'm pleased to tell you we have never charged any of our clients a fee. If you need help, call for a free personal consultation at 720-295-HOPE. That's 720-295-4673. At the Haven Team, our homeowner is our number one priority.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio. We want to thank Bonnie Bowles, willsandwellness.com, and Kim Johnson, Client Services Director for Wills and Wellness. Our number is 303-477-5600. Get right to our next guest. Dr. Craig Burns with Maximize Health Chiropractic. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Felt a lot better after my last visit with you.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
So thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
When you go, oh, that was a good one, I go, yes, it was. Yeah. So, yeah. No, a great office visit there, and look forward to getting back in. Again, Maximize Health Chiropractic, MaximizeHealth.net. Their number, 303-462-4476, 303-462-4476, and located really off of Yosemite and kind of the Dry Creek area.
Yeah, right off the highway.
Right off the highway. So very, very convenient. That's what I was trying to get to, very convenient. And a lot of times, as we've talked about before, everybody kind of says, oh, I just got my little neighborhood guy, easy to get to. Well, their office is very easy to get to. And I hope you'll give them a call. And I've kind of decided lose a few pounds, whatever, and get in better shape and health for 2014. So I'm going to be getting in there a lot more regular myself. So let's talk about chiropractic. And I like a term that you use, chiropractic demystified. That sounds true. So let's talk just a little bit about that.
That's what we're going to talk about. I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So let's try to clear up some of them. But we'll start off with where chiropractic is going, because every single year since the inception of chiropractic back in 1895, we've just gained more and more ground. More people are coming to us than ever before, year after year after year. And that kind of says something. Although my personal opinion is not enough people are going to a chiropractor, and I think because there's some mystery, and we need to demystify that stuff. So it's kind of important to point out that chiropractic is the most utilized healthcare service in the world, second only to the Western Medical Association, or Western Medicine. I think that's pretty cool, so that makes me excited to be a chiropractor.
Sure.
And I think we want to talk about, for the most part, is why should a person go? What do we really do? Let's take some of the mystery and the confusion and maybe some scariness out of it, and just try to educate a listener on maybe they should check it out, or maybe they've been to a chiropractor and it just wasn't a good experience. Maybe it wasn't the best office. Maybe it wasn't the right office. So don't stop trying. You just got to find the right guy.
Well, sure. I mean, that's like eating a steak somewhere at a restaurant and it tasting bad, and you say, I'm never going to go eat steak again.
Exactly. Right.
And there are good steaks. So, it is something I think where a lot of people don't really understand the education that you have and what you have to go through. And the reason why I personally think, your practice in the business of chiropractic has picked up, people are just really fed up with the medical world. You walk in, here's a symptom, here's a pill.
Yeah.
And I
think to a large extent that's exactly true. People are getting smarter. They know that they have other options, and they don't like where Western medicine is taking their family or society or this nation as a whole. Now, don't get me wrong, Western medicine is great. It has its place. I mean, if you sever an artery, that's who you go to. Yeah. They're specialists at setting bones, et cetera, et cetera. They're emergency medical people. But people are taking health issues to emergency medical people. So it's like round peg in square hole mentality, as I call it.
Right.
People need to be taking their body and their issues before they become an emergency problem to people like me that are specialists when it comes to unraveling health problems before they become an emergency situation, and drugs and surgery are really truly the only answer. So people are using chiropractic, unfortunately, as more of the last resort, which I get a lot of those in my office. Like, I've tried everything else and I'm not better, and then they find me. And fortunately, I get to help a lot of those people, which is nice. But I wish it was flip-flopped. People should be coming in to see me first, and then, if I usually tell people, if I can't help you, you do need to go have surgery. You need to have this hip replaced. But people should be trying natural health care first.
Sure.
Yes.
And one thing I noticed in your office, the age range is wide.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. And also, I think people may think, well, my back's not hurting, so I don't need a chiropractor, And just from what I've learned in just my few visits with you, man, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, a lot of stuff can be going wrong in that body.
Absolutely.
So just because you don't need a backache is what I'm trying to say to go to a chiropractor.
You should go to the chiropractor before you get a backache.
Right.
Just like you should go to a dentist before you get a toothache. There's really no difference there. Society has just gravitated towards the logic behind dentistry. We need to gravitate towards using that same logic for other parts of our body, the bones in our back specifically. So we also need to make a transition here as a society more now than ever with the way healthcare is going. We need to take ownership of our own body, our own problems, our own future, our own healthcare. We have to be responsible for that because nobody else can do that for us, really. Your health insurance, it ain't going to be there for you really, truly to protect your health. The doctors in the hospitals, they aren't really truly there to protect your health. They're there to save you, in case you get in a car accident and you're about ready to die.
Right.
We need to look at how to be proactive. How can we maintain what we've got? If we've lost something like flexibility, how do we get it back? How do we stay proactive so we don't lose it, in the next couple of decades? So it's just a mental state. It's a paradigm shift that we have to make as a society, that to be proactive and to take care of our bodies before the symptoms arise, not act after they arise.
Correct. Now, why should a person use chiropractic when they're having pain?
Statistically, and to just use logic, chiropractic has the best track record when it comes to musculoskeletal conditions than any other profession on the planet, including massage, acupuncture, physical therapy. All of those are great professions, and I have a lot of those professionals in my office on my staff. However, chiropractic in general has been proven to be one of the best intervention strategies for anybody with back pain, neck pain, headaches, or musculoskeletal pain. That's what we're trained at. We're the best in the world at diagnosing and treating those types of problems. And then where do most people go for their back pain? They usually go to their medical doctor. And what does the medical doctor give them? Usually a medication, back spasms, pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, muscle relaxers. But does that actually solve what's perpetuating the back pain?
Right.
It does not. So you take that problem to the problem solver, the right problem solver, a chiropractor. We find out what's mechanically wrong with this back, just like you would take your car to a mechanic. They would find out why the noise or why the rattle or the shake is there. They would fix it once and for all, and you keep driving that car until something else arises. Same thing with the human body. We just don't apply that same logic, unfortunately. We haven't been taught to.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's true. And that's one thing, again, I get back to just in my few visits with you, is it's not just a doctor visit or chiropractic visit. It's almost a little education seminar with it. And every time I've left, you sent me home with something I can do for myself.
Yeah, just like last time you were in. Yeah. I'd stretch your neck out for you. I treated it myself, but part of my job, I feel a personal responsibility to help you take better care of yourself, not just give you a fish every time you show up. I want to teach you how to fish better on your own.
Right.
I know you're already good at fishing, but as far as taking care of your back, I want to help you figure that out.
Now, wellness is a big term today and for the last few years. So why should a person choose chiropractic for wellness and maybe we'll call it aging?
Well, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at, again, going back to the car analogy, I call it biomechanics, but let's just call it mechanical parts. And our body has lots of them. And they operate by similar principles as a vehicle. So when you keep that vehicle, your car, your truck, or your body tuned up, it doesn't fall apart. Pieces don't wear away faster than they should. They don't need to be replaced as fast as they should. Everybody applies better logic to maintaining the health of their vehicle than they do their own body. So from that standpoint, chiropractic should just be an obvious choice. Year after year, that's why we're seeing more people coming to us. Now, from a different perspective, which I love talking about this, and I'll be brief.
No, go on.
Neurology. Your nervous system drives everything. Your brain runs and controls everything, and that brain has an extension, a spinal cord, and that spinal cord runs down through the bones in the back. Now these bones move. That's good. The consequence of that is what actually protects your spinal cord could actually cause pinching, pulling, etc. to those nerves. Where do those nerves go to? They go to your heart, your spleen, your reproductive system, your pancreas. If you start to have, because of an old fall as an 11-year-old, jumping over a fence like I did, or you name it, car accidents, everybody gets in slips and falls, and you jostle some of those bones around, and they start to move out of alignment, or they stop moving properly, or a combination thereof, you start to have some irritation to those nerves.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel that necessarily. Nerves aren't designed to feel pain, but they can be irritated, and wherever those nerves go to, God forbid it's your heart or your pancreas or your reproductive system, you're going to see dysfunction over the next couple months, years, or decades. And the only way that dysfunction can be repaired is by taking the pressure off the nerve. So chiropractic has this really cool side to it that I don't think most people have been exposed to, as far as keeping the body tuned up neurologically. So whatever those nerves go to, proper electricity, proper information flow to everything, that's how the body feeds itself, heals itself, propagates life and health. It's a pretty cool concept. So that we talk about a lot in our clinic. Once we help people get out of pain, now we tell, hey, there's more here. We could take this as far as you want to take this.
Mm-hmm.
How healthy do you want to be? How long do you want to be around?
A long time, right, Charlie? A long time. Our number is 303-477-5600. This is Haystack Help Radio. Our guest, Dr. Craig Burns with Maximize Health Chiropractic. Their website, maximizehealth.net, 303-462-4476. Give them a call. Come back. We're going to visit a little bit more with Dr. Craig Burns.
Early retirement, changing jobs. Hi, I'm Dot Mecklenburg, president of Dot Mecklenburg, Inc. Section 72T of the IRS Code says as long as you take substantially equal payments from your IRA for 5 years or until age 59 and a half, whichever is greater, you will not be penalized 10% for early withdrawal. For a free consultation, call me today at 303-647-1948 or visit me at my website, dotmecklenburg.com.
Dot Mecklenburg Financial Services is an official company of Haystack Help and an A-plus member of the Better Business Bureau. Securities and advisory services offered through Genios Wealth Management, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
What's the most common problem for golfers? It's the slice. If you want to get rid of your slice, you need No Slice. No Slice was tested by Golf Laboratories, a facility that conducts robotic testing for the golf industry, and the results were amazing. No Slice will eliminate your slice and increase your distance, guaranteed, or your money back. Simply apply No Slice to your golf club for longer, straighter shots and no more lost golf balls. Enjoy golf again. For more information or to purchase No Slice, go to NoSlicegolf.com. That's NoSliceGolf.com.
Shouldn't a home comfort system make you completely comfortable? At Carrier, our expert dealers are the trusted source for everything you need for home heating and cooling. When you decide to repair or upgrade your home comfort system, your local Carrier dealer can advise you on your air conditioning, heating, and indoor air quality needs. From maintenance to repair to installation, going with a Carrier expert is a decision you'll always take comfort in.
Littleton Heating, Air Conditioning, and Duct Cleaning, 303-798-3880, Denver Metro, HVAC.com.
Have you been involved in an auto accident, slip and fall, or any other personal injury? I'm Kevin Flesh with Flesh Law, and I've been protecting victims' rights for over 17 years. If you want aggressive representation that will get you the money you deserve, then call me at 303-884-1037 or visit my website at fleshlaw.com. That's Flesh, F-L-E-S-C-H. I will give you the personal service you deserve, starting with a free consultation. Call me 303-884-1037 or visit me at fleshlaw.com.
It's closeout time here at Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, and if you give us a chance, you won't be sorry. We have the guaranteed lowest prices, highest trade-in values, and the quickest and easiest buying experience ever. Go east and pay the least. Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, I-225 in East Colfax, or LynnLyleChevy.com.
Dave Ramsey Show.
If you guys can't, between the two of you, find the tools in your marriage for her to respect the relationship and respect you enough and love you well enough to stick to her word in order to attain goals that we both agreed to, staying within amounts that we both agreed to, then you've got a serious breakdown inside of the marriage, and you probably need to go sit down with a pastor and do some good marriage counseling.
Dave Ramsey, noon to 3 on KLZ 560, The Source.
Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio. My name is Scott Watley. We're visiting with Dr. Craig Burns with Maximize Health Chiropractic. Our number is 303-477-5600. I want to remind everyone, be safe on the roads this evening. The weather is changing pretty drastically, and so I believe snow is going to start falling pretty quick. And as I mentioned in an earlier segment, sometimes we have a show planned and our guest gets tied up in court or gets tied up in the office and things, they can't make it, and we replay a show. So if you hear this show and you look out and it's 62 degrees and you think I've lost my mind, when I'm saying this, it is very cold outside. So just want everybody to be careful. Okay, Dr. Burns, let's talk a little bit more about chiropractic for the, I'll let you say the word,
musculoskeletal.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. So let's talk about what all that covers.
Well, you know, what I'd like to try to educate the listeners on is just to look at your body like a machine, like mechanical parts. We're created much more magnificently than that. I get that. I think we all get that on some level. But you do have to break it down into simple ideas that people can work with. So these mechanical parts, these things that are meant to move, you got to keep them moving. And what I see, frankly, most people that come to me is moving parts have stopped moving. And that's why they have symptoms. That's why they start to hurt. You can give it a name. You can give it back pain, sciatica, disc this or that, headache, migraine, whatever. But if you keep the human body moving well, it usually doesn't fall apart and start to have chronic symptoms. So if you want to look at what I do of just being a mechanic and just getting parts moving again, sometimes that's all you got to do in order to get people to heal and start feeling better again. So there is a very simple element to what I do. Although it is very, difficult trying to figure out exactly what's not moving and how to get it moving again, and how to teach a patient to keep it moving for the rest of their life. But that's it in a nutshell from a biomechanical perspective. That's why human bodies are failing so fast these days. We're sitting more than ever. We're getting in more accidents and injuries. Kids are playing full contact sports at earlier ages. So it's just a breeding ground for musculoskeletal problems, which is why chiropractic is so popular now, and it'll probably just gain more and more ground every year. So, yeah, I'm used to seeing the neck pain, the back pain, the headaches, the migraines, the disc issues, the scoliosis and bad posture. We definitely like working with arthritic conditions because a lot of people think they got arthritis and there's no solution for that. You just got to take a medication to manage your pain. No, that's not true. Usually you just got to treat the joint properly, teach people how to exercise and stretch it properly. And, yeah, you can't make arthritis go away, but you can certainly keep it from progressing. And then we see a lot of stuff with numbness and tingling where the stress has gone so deep in the body that now it's actually choking the nerve. That stuff can be repaired. It doesn't need to be surgically repaired. You just need to open the body up, loosen the muscles, and get things moving again. Things stop going to sleep. You start to get the coordination back in the fingers. So we see a lot of people with carpal tunnel, et cetera. I think the biggest thing that people also need to focus on and it's the secret to my success, is I really try not to get too blinded by or over-focused on symptoms. You got to find the source or the cause of the problem and treat that directly. That's how you fix a symptom permanently.
Right.
And as we started the segment, that's why people need to focus on natural health care now more than ever, because natural health care has taught us to be symptom-driven. If you got a symptom, go see somebody, take something until it goes away. But what did you learn? How did you get any better physically doing that?
Right.
So that's one of the things I love doing for people.
And, like you've told me a number of times is, if my hand's going numb, the problem is not in my hand.
Exactly.
It's coming from somewhere, and that's what you're talking about, educating people.
Yes. Yeah. We just had somebody come off the show with the carpal tunnel segment that we did, and they wanted 3 weeks. She only had the problem 3 weeks, but they wanted to start cutting her hand right off the bat. I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Why don't we try some simple stretching? We'll actually adjust the bones of the hand. I'll show you some simple stretches for your hand and your wrist. Go home and practice them, and I'll see you in a week. And yeah, she started feeling better. Miraculous, right?
Yeah. Now, you got a couple examples of some people that you've helped out? Just a couple of stories you might tell us about?
Yeah, I do. We'll call this first guy Rob, and a lot of people who are listening can probably relate to Rob. Rob has back pain, so Rob had back pain for a long time, and it just kind of kept getting worse and worse. Now, it would come and go. So, a lot of times he just waited out. It'd go, but it'd keep coming back 3 months, 6 months later. Rob was one of those guys that gave up one of his passions in life, which was running. This guy just loves to run. Running whatever, trails, road, it didn't matter. He just loved to run. But
Forrest Gump kind of running, yeah.
His back pain just got in the way, so he started giving things up. This is a young guy. He was only 40-ish, but he started to give up things. And I think a lot of people are suffering from giving up your passions and the things that you love to do in life simply because you have pain. I get it, but there's usually ways of getting rid of the obstacle or the problem that keeps you from doing what you love to do. Another thing that we deal with a lot is headaches. We see a headache specialist, if you will, Tracy. Chronic headaches, tension headaches, migraine headaches, all kinds, all the time. This is something where she almost actually lost her job because her headaches get in the way of just getting the day done, getting the job done, being productive, being focused. So she's one of those success stories I love telling other people about because headaches are gone. For me, headaches are not that difficult. There are some headaches I can't solve, but most of them, we have tremendous success with that. People who have headaches don't learn to live with it. Don't give up on the problem. Just go find somebody that can fix this stuff because usually headaches can go away, and we can teach you how to keep them away. So Tracy's one of those people. So we love telling those stories on TV or the air or just live in person because there is hope.
Right. And so many of them feel like there's not because all they've done is and again, I'm not slamming medical doctors.
Right.
Like we're not because there's some good ones out there. But we've all just been doing that same thing for years and years and years. You go to the family doctor, get the pill, hope you feel better.
People don't know what they don't know, and you can't condemn anybody for that.
Right.
Right? But my job and one of my passions in life, I think that's why I'm here, is to tell people you've got other options. Explore them. Get second opinions. You got nothing to lose here. You got everything to gain, which is a better quality of life. So never think that your pain, your condition, or your diagnosis is something permanent. In some cases, yes, it is. But in most cases, it is not.
Right. Now let's talk about some of the immune system problems that are out there today.
That is something that, as a wellness center or a chiropractor that has a wellness-based focus in their care or treatment style, we see a lot of people with some weird things you'd never think you'd take to a chiropractor. Immune system problems, ADD, ADHD, asthma, allergies, sinus issues, digestive problems, reproductive problems. And again, a lot of this stuff stems to where we started with nerves. If you have a bone that's pinching or pulling or putting pressure on a nerve, wherever that nerve goes to, you're going to see dysfunction. We've studied this back since 1921. There was a medical doctor, Henry Windsor, that studied the principle of chiropractic and proved it in dissections. If you have a problem in a spine and a nerve, you can almost predict with 100% accuracy that there will be disease or evidence of disease in the end organ. So we see a lot of people with these weird non-musculoskeletal issues who have been everywhere else, tried other things, been put on things, not getting any better, and they come to us and say, I'm looking for some hope here. What do you got for me? And not all these cases we can fix, but a lot of them, we find something that nobody else is looking for. And we relieve that pressure and let that nerve function properly, and that organ starts to come back online and produce properly, we start to see some really cool things with immune system. People that used to be sick all the time, like myself, chronic throat infections all the time. Nobody figured out why. It wasn't until I actually stumbled upon chiropractic at 20 years of age, and all these problems actually started self-resolving. I actually went for headaches, but I had throat infections too. I haven't had a throat infection in that over a decade.
Wow.
So my immune system is definitely stimulated through chiropractic. Anybody out there that's listening can Google this. It's already out there. It's been studied for decades. I have whole families that come to me who bring their kids as young as 2 days old to just have their bodies checked and tuned up, if you will, like a mechanic, to promote health and healing from the inside out.
Now, you mentioned like ADD and all this. You know, I don't know. When I was growing up, I mean, you never heard of that. So did it just go undiagnosed, or do you think there's a lot of misdiagnosis on that and they're giving kids a lot of pills and different things? What's your...
I think there's some over-diagnosing, let's call it that. I'm glad I didn't grow up in that age, because what my parents, I was pretty crazy too, and they probably would have put me on something.
Right.
But Andrew is a good story. This is something that was recently brought to me just a couple years back, and this child was 9 years old. He had a legitimate reason on why his brain chemistry was off, and I could see it plain as day on an x-ray. The top two bones in the neck, some of the most fragile, delicate bones in the human body, very important, a lot of nerves going in and out of them. This kid had a lot of pressure on his brainstem and upper nervous system, and this was the cause of his ADD-like symptoms. He was already on Ritalin, which is like cocaine, which is crazy.
Right.
This little kid. So, of course, this kid was nuts and just misbehaving all the time, couldn't focus on anything, horrible in school. It took me the better part of 3 months working just simply on his neck. We didn't change anything else other than just taking the pressure off the nerves again and again and again. He's off Ritalin now. I just saw him. He's in college now. How cool is that? Chiropractic.
Yeah, no doubt.
The mom came to me for headaches. She learned what we really do behind the scenes. Then she brought her kids in, and now the kids have a totally different life because of chiropractic.
That's awesome. We're kind of up against the clock here, so we're going to have to jump to your special offer.
Yeah. I just recommend that people who have any issues at all get a consultation from somebody like me who does things a little bit different. Just ask questions and let us spend some time with you and see if there's some other solutions that we can offer you. If you've already